My name is Gavin Evans, and this is another episode of Blast from the Past. And this time, I'm going to talk about G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra. Now, this movie was a huge part of my childhood. I think I was 13 or 14 when it came out, but still, as soon as I watched it, I instantly fell in love with it. I saw it 3 or 4 times in the theater. I told everyone that it was my favorite movie ever. I don't think anyone on the planet liked this movie as much as I did when I was a kid. But over the years, as I got older, I started to hear that everyone really hates this movie. So I haven't really rewatched it, but a few weeks ago, I decided to rewatch it for the first time in a decade. And I still kind of have some fun with it. I don't know if I'd say it holds up, but I think it's exactly what it is. And that is, it's a Saturday morning cartoon brought to life in a very goofy, fun, turn off your brain action movie. There is not much there story-wise. There's not much there character-wise. What you do get is good guys called G.I. Joe and bad guys known as Cobra going pew, 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 and fighting each other, trying to save the world and destroy the world. And that's all this movie has going for it, and that's all it's trying to have with it. It's never trying to be more than what it is, and in that way, I think it does a fine enough job. The action is entertaining enough. It's not going to blow your mind. You're not going to watch and be like, oh my goodness, this is like The Raid. No, it never gets even a fraction that good. But it's constantly fast-paced. It's got this energy to it. The cast is fun enough to watch. I won't say they're good, but they're fun enough to watch. And that Paris chase scene is actually a pretty tense sequence, which I have fun watching. And the CGI in that scene is great. When they shoot down the Eiffel Tower, I still think the CGI holds up to this day. But every other bit of CGI looks awful. As soon as they arrive at the G.I. Joe base in the desert, the sand looks as fake as can be. And I'm just like, wow, this is some bad CGI. But when the Eiffel Tower has all these chemical nanobites destroying it and it falls over, that looks good, but the sand doesn't. It's so inconsistent in that regard. The ending also does what Star Wars does a lot, which is cut between all these different action scenes. And there's actually one really cool edit where there's a guy flying in the sky, and then it transitions to someone in this underwater thing that looks the same. And I actually think that transition is very smooth and just very cool to look at. And Snake Eyes is a badass in this movie. Ray Park does a great job with the wall. I even had a Snake Eyes outfit when I was a kid along with one of his swords. But even as a kid, whenever I put the mask on, as a kid, I realized how freaking stupid the lips look. Why would you do that? The lips on his costume look ridiculously stupid. Oh my god, who thought that was a good idea? Who approved the lips on Snake Eyes mask? That is worse than the bat nipples in my opinion, because wow, that is a questionable decision. I actually think that Snake Eyes has a really good backstory, and his rivalry with Storm Shadow could have been developed further, but there's definitely some good ideas there. That said, I can't really compliment it too much because they did make a Snake Eyes movie, and I saw the trailer, and I'm like, yeah, I ain't wasting my money on that. So, who knows, but in this movie, what we got was good. The other characters have some good ideas behind them. There's definitely some melodrama here, but I actually don't mind melodrama all the time. If I was watching a movie like Blade Runner 2049 and it got really melodramatic, I'd be like, I don't know, movie. But a dumb Saturday morning cartoon brought to life and having relationships between characters be super melodramatic, okay, I don't mind it as much. And this movie does end on a very interesting cliffhanger that I would have loved to see followed up in an interesting way. I know we got another G.I. Joe movie after this, but even as a kid, I never liked that one. I just found it to be very forgettable. Some of the dialogue in this movie is just hilariously bad. It's so... You just can't help but laugh at it, but that's where some of my enjoyment with this movie comes from, because I'm laughing throughout, and I don't think I'm supposed to. There's a line at the end where Cobra Commander puts on his mask for the first time, and then he turns to the camera with the dumbest looking mask, and he's just like, "You can call me Cobra Commander."
You will call me Commander.
It's so dumb. And as much as I enjoy my melodrama, the execution of character arcs is awful. Like, you find out that, okay, slight spoiler alert, but this movie came out 12 years ago, so if you haven't seen it by this point, that's on you. But we find out the Baroness is getting mind controlled slightly, and I'm just like, what the heck? Like, that was the dumbest route they could have taken this character. Like, why would you do that? I don't understand why they made that decision. It just ruined all the compelling character stuff that came before. It just seemed like the easiest way out of it. Oh, I know I just mentioned Cobra Commando, but can I just say that this movie totally wasted Joseph Gordon-Levitt? Like, I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt a lot, and they completely wasted him. And this movie is all over the place. So many people get a backstory, there's flashbacks, it jumps all over the place. It's a very disjointed mess. But it's an entertaining, disjointed mess. And there's a romance between Whipcord and Scarlet, and I can't believe that by the end of the movie, they actually expected me to buy the two of them together, because I never did. No, it was the most forced romance you could have imagined. But that all said, like I said at the beginning, this is a Saturday morning cartoon brought to life. You're not going to get great writing, and there's not great directing here, but the action is serviceable enough. The characters are dumb and over the top like they should be. I can put on this movie and have fun with it. Is it going to be one I watch all the time? No, but rewatching it, I still enjoyed it. It's not my favorite movie ever now. It's not even close. It's not as good as I remember it being as a kid, but this is a movie that when I watch it now, I understood why I loved it as much as I did when I was a kid. I understand it. And for that, I'm still going to go ahead and give this movie a 6 out of 10. And does it hold up? Yes. Sure, let's go with that. I still enjoy this movie, but I don't really expect many other people to. I'll put it that way. But, do you like G.I. Joe The Rise of Cobra? What do you think of this movie? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin out.